Hi there! I made 5 different types of popovers from 5 different types of whole grains. Here's what I learned. Hi there friends. Today I'm doing a popover challenge. I am making like 5 different varieties of popovers, trying different whole grain flours. So right now I'm going, because you don't have to see how to do all of them, I'm just going to show you how to mix up one. Anyway, this time around I am using corn flour from my homegrown purple parching corn, which is like a flour corn. So we've got half a cup of milk and half a cup of water plus 2 tablespoons of water in here, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is half a cup of the corn flour, and I ground it from 1/3 of a cup of the corn grain. Now for the other whole wheat flours and stuff, you need 1/3 of a cup plus 1 tablespoon of the grains to make a half cup of flour. And then we've got 3 eggs. And I'll just put this all in the blender and whiz it up and let it sit for however much time, about 10 minutes before my other batch comes out. See you soon. So I thought I would show you, because I'm using freshly ground flour, I'll show you my grinder. This is the hopper right there. And you open it up and there's the stones. And when I'm done grinding, I always use a paintbrush to wipe the flour off the sides down into the basket below. So there's my big old grinder, and there's the flour. I'll be using 1/3 of a cup of flour. You could use pretty much anything, like hard red, soft white wheat, hard red wheat or soft white wheat, or barley or rye, or you could try other flours. This doesn't need to have, you know, you're not using the gluten aspect of it, you're just using the starch, so anything pretty much will work. So now our oven is preheated to 425. Our tin has a little bit of fat in the bottom of each thing, and it's hot, and so I'm just going to fill them up. You're aiming for about halfway to 2/3 full. And then just look for the ones that are the most empty to top up a little bit. What I have found is that when the flour doesn't stay in suspension, but it goes down to the bottom of your blender container, that when that flour or bits of the grains go into your popovers, they stay at the bottom, and those are the ones that don't puff up. Anyway, I'll explain more about that later. So they're going in the oven at 425 for about 25 minutes. Hi, Alana here. Did you know that I wrote a cookbook? It's available on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. It's called Delicious, Cheap, Healthy, Whole Grains, Beans and Lentils, Staples for Budget-Friendly Meals. In it you'll find recipes for breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, and staples, and they're all made from healthy, delicious whole grains and beans and lentils. You can't get any better than that. Okay, back to the video. So I've got 5 different versions of popovers, and we're going to go through them and see how they worked. They used the same proportions for everything, just about, like plus or minus 1 tablespoon of berries of the grain. And we're going to go through and decide. I'm going to show you which ones I like best and which ones didn't work and why, and we'll just go over it. Okay, so here's what they look like. We have here rye, so those are the rye berries. And here's the rye popovers. We've got barley and a batch of barley ones. I have eaten some already because, you know, I'm hungry. And this is hard red wheat. This is what they look like. Then we've got soft white wheat. That's a good picture. And that's what they look like. And here's my parching corn that I grew many years ago. And that's what the corn popovers look like. And you'll notice in some of them that we've got little tiny ones that didn't pop. There's one on the corn. There was one on the soft white wheat. There's a couple in the hard red wheat. And you know what? The rye looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the one that I ate was not a small one. And then the barley, they all looked like they popped pretty well too. They don't have any little tiny ones. So what happens is when you, when the flour, you kind of get to the dregs at the bottom, and then if you put more of that into the bottom of the tin, those are the ones that don't pop. These ones are particular. The hard red wheat, it doesn't want to, you'll see they're just hard little bricks. No popping whatsoever. Okay, I'll be back in just a second. We'll go over them and what they taste like. We are back with the taste test now. I'm going to start with the soft white wheat because I made those the earliest this morning. So first of all, here's one that it's a little deflated at this point. Okay, here's one puffed up really nicely, and open it up. It's nice and eggy inside and light. I really like that one. There was one of those that didn't puff up. It was just like the dregs of the flour at the end. And then we've got the hard red wheat. To open it up, it's nice and light and eggy inside. And it had two of them that didn't puff. They were little bricks. I'll show you one of those. Good stuff. Yeah, so here's one that didn't puff. And this is the little center that came out of it. It's a little hard brick. It's not even worth trying it. Those do not taste good. I've made lots like those before. Don't like them. Okay. Then we did, this one is barley. Puffed up really nice. And inside, nice and eggy and light and fluffy. Now, has a little bit of a different flavor than a wheat-based one, and it's good. I don't like it as well as wheat, and they've cooled off a bit. I had one earlier when it was hot, and I didn't really like the flavor, but now that it's cooled off, it's just fine. Yep, that'll work. And then we've got rye. So here's our little rye popover. Open it up, nice and airy and fluffy. Nice big cavity in there. My son likes to stuff the rest of his supper, whatever it is, vegetables, meat, mashed potatoes, gravy, put it in there and then eat it like a little popover sandwich. So it's nice to have a little hole to do that. I like the rye. Rye is a good flavor. Very similar to the wheat-based ones. And now let's go to corn, my parching corn. So it's popped somewhat. Open it up, and it's eggy inside. It's light. The more it cools off, the less corn-like it tastes, which is really interesting. There's a hint of corn still, but yeah, that's good. It's surprising. It did have one little one that didn't puff, so it's, you know, the end of the batter, and when you get lots of the flour at the bottom and it just doesn't puff, it's hard little brick. So, really interesting. That took me all morning to do 5 batches of popovers, but it was a good experiment. So, and just to recap, I did 1/3 of a cup of grain plus 1 tablespoon for most of them. For the corn, I only did 1/3 of a cup. And then a quarter teaspoon of salt, half a cup of milk, half a cup of water, and then 2 tablespoons of water extra, and then 3 eggs. I did make a batch of popovers yesterday, and I put in 4 eggs, and I thought it was a little too eggy for me. So if you wanted to bump it up to 4 eggs, I'd add in another tablespoon or 2 of flour, whatever you're using, just to even it out. And then you'd also have more batter in your tin, so they'd raise a little bit higher. Yeah, good luck. Popovers they're really easy and they're delicious. Yeah, but you just got to get those proportions right or else you get bricks. So good luck and have a great day. We'll talk to you later.